All right, guys. So I wanted to jump back into this and push this along. And just to review, we started with the willow, right? We started with the willow, and I went in to develop the soft values, right? And very soft textures. Now, I did spray this so that it should take another layer of willow on top of it and help it to, get a little darker. But I also am thinking, why not go in with the charcoal pencil? So I've got a 2B medium here, and this is going to give me a chance, sorry about that, to develop some value in here. So now I'm going to be value in here, right? And this is such a beautiful arch. I really want to try to get this arch in here, right? So I'm in here, and I'm just going to put little marks down, right? And so there it is, all right? So now I'm going to allow that to bleed out in there, right in there, and in there, and down the side, right? So it's pushing it, it's giving it a little bit more visual weight in here. You can see that happening, right? In there, build it out. I don't need to have, I can have a value in here with some texture in it. I don't need to have a flat black just because it's in the photograph. I don't need to draw all those freckles either, right? So in here we're going to work the side of the cheekbone and then down. Oh, I want to talk about some relationships in here, some relationships I discovered, right? We'll get to them. Don't let me forget them, please. So here we are in here building this in here, right? And we're going to bring it down. Now, there's some weirdness in here because the nose, let's get to the relationships first. All right, so looking at here, if I feel good about this in here, remember how I worked this in here? And then I saw that this was really close here and I adjusted it. I brought this guy in some, and I was talking about 3 different ways to measure in here. The length of this nose, finding the height of the eye, the dark areas, the dark of the eye, measuring down so many, and I think it just a rough estimate. I went 1, 2, 3, 4. I shortened it a little bit, so I'm like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and there's close. And then also this in here, looking at that shape in here, that's a negative shape. So I'm looking at that shape there, trying to get a good like sets of it there. All right. So there's measuring. I also measured this. If I feel like good about this up in here, right? Then if I go from the nostril, outside the nostril straight up, I'll see where that hits towards like the out here. Now I didn't push it out that far, right? And I probably should have, but it's close. So now I'm working the 2B charcoal, right? I did some in a negative space. You see what happened back in here. You see what happened back in here, how that pushes forward. Oh, there's a couple things in here. The white is going to be my whitest, right? That can't be as white as that white of the eye. And then the white of the eye is going to have subtle shadows in there or subtle grays in there. So maybe it's like up in here a little bit, right? And over in here a little bit. And then I'm just going to soften that in there like that. And then we'll see if it needs more, right? And I smudged that out a little bit, so I'll just go back in there and do that. All right? So we got that going. Something wants to happen in here because this is not that white. So let's put some in here. And then let's soften that this way. Right? We still can define that at the nose. Let's work down in here. The front of the nose, the side of the nose. We can keep working that. There, we're going in there now. All right, there. All right, so that softens all that up. Up in here, probably some more shadows. Or let's push it a little bit. Up in there like that. Okay, there we go. Things are starting to happen now. Now let's go in here and just let's do this right through here to define this a little bit more so. All right, so now we're defining that. And let's just drop a few marks in there to say, okay, in there. All right, now that pops out a little bit more. Let's work this nostril. And that drops down, doesn't it? And I think I lost that, so like that, up into here. But we're going to just keep it like that. All right, now we're going to go in here because that might be just a little sharp. Soften that a little bit by doing that gradient out. There we go, there we go. A little bit more work in the eye. Let's go. Let's take a look. Let's go up in here. This goes in front, right? All right. Then out in here, we have some shadow out in here. So let's go over here. It's like you're building it up little by little, right? Obviously it is. We'll go in here with some, get that, soften that. Okay, up in top here. Right, let's darken this a little bit over in here. It's so subtle, the subtle differences. We still haven't got that eyebrow in, have we? Right, up in here, so we can think about how that comes out of that area. I'm thinking about the shape of it in there. I'm going to build it out. There. And that goes right up to the side, doesn't it? I don't want to leave that short. It goes right up to the side up in here, right? Now we can break this edge in here a little bit at times. All right, there we go. All right, not bad. That came along a little bit more. Now let's work this eye. Oh, we're down to 9 seconds. We're going to work this eye really quick. All right, I'll do the eye, and then we'll come back and move on.